pay attention to my daily financial news, which is a show I go live 7:30, 5 days a week. I believe the housing market is going to slow down significantly in the second half of 2024. What I'm doing with a lot of my millionaires is I'm reaching out going, hey, what is going on in your market? So today we're going to talk with Casey, who has intimate knowledge with Memphis, Tennessee, which if you guys look at the stats has been hot, hot. So maybe I'm wrong. Casey, what's going on?
Memphis has always been hot. I mean, it's one of the most affordable cities in the country. It's a flyover state. It's middle America, low housing costs here. But I'm telling you right now, lately, it's slowed down a little bit. I mean, I look at the market a lot. I'm always looking for a house to buy. We just got in contract on one last week. I'm going to the home inspection today. So I've been really paying attention. And there are properties that have been owner occupied that are in really good condition that are sitting for more than 2 to 3 weeks without offers. I mean, it's nuts. Even oh my gosh, I'm stuttering so much like it's just like the best time to buy is like right now. I don't know what it is, but the first half of the year, properties were flying off the shelves. I mean, multiple offers didn't matter, unless it's above the median. But anything that's 300,000 and below, really, which is even above the median, 300,000 is. They were selling like hotcakes. So it was over asking. You weren't going to get much in concessions from the seller, but that's not the case right now. Even with these volatile interest rates, which I think is interesting. Um, Properties are just sitting. So now is like the time to get out there and make your offers, especially if you're in the Memphis market.
Yeah, let's look at Memphis a little bit, and I'll share with you what I'm telling my audience. You kind of tweak it for Memphis specific, but what I'm telling my audience is, um, understand your buy box, understand your area, understand what normal is for days on market. And what do I mean by that? Again, we're going to focus on below the median, right? Because if you're shopping luxury, that's a different
Different ball
conversation.
game.
Yeah, different ballgame. But let's go below the median where cash flow generally resides. Let's say in a market like Memphis, historically being the last 6 months, days on market over 10 days is considered long, right? If it wasn't pending within 10 days. What I would be doing today in today's market, if I saw a listing that was 20 days on market and I liked it, I would write a disrespectful offer. Like, let's put some numbers on it. Let's say it was a clean build and it was at 280. And in order for you to cash flow it, you needed it 250. And I would write a 235 or 228 or something stupid because, again, most of us only need one deal a year, every other year. So the idea with this in my crazy offer, again, 280 writing at 228 is I want the seller to tell me to F off. However, that's where the process starts because what I will be doing is every 7 days follow up at 228. Or you know what I might do if I'm feel like being a dick is I might write it at 227 and then 226 and then 225. The whole process of this is I'm going to find the motivated seller who eventually cries uncle. It's not going to be all of them. Some of them are just going to say, you know what? My house didn't sell at 280. I'm taking it off the market. I'll try next year. I don't care about those. I want to find the person that goes, you know what? My home is free and clear. My grandchildren are in Texas. I only have a little bit longer to live. I'm out. I'll take 228. That's just where we are. Slower housing market means the people that do the work win. That's what I think.
I think too, knowing, if there's someone living in the property, knowing what the seller's motivation is. So one thing that really bugs me is when my agent or a buyer's agents just text the listing agent. Oh, it's like, want to slap them because
Yeah.
you can't get much from the listing agent about the seller from a text message. People are gab, they talk. And if you can get one on the phone, you can get a lot more information about the situation. So for the house that we're in contract on, they had just dropped it like $20,000 or so, and it had been on the market for 15 or so days. They dropped it 20, which means they didn't get any good enough offers that they wanted to counter or to work with. And that even at those numbers, I was still like, nah, like I really want what I want. And
Yep.
so we offered 15 less than that. and even ask for 2% closing costs right up front, which normally I wouldn't advise to ask for closing costs up front. I would usually save that, but I'm like, hell, I'm going to ask for 15 off, even though they already just dropped to 20 like 2 days before. And I'm going to ask for closing costs because you can only get two as a rental, you know.
Mhm.
And they freaking said yes. Why? Because they were already under contract with another property. They need to close in less than a month. And I knew that because I make my agent call on the phone and not text.
Yeah, you got to figure out the seller motivation. And again, I don't know what the odds or what the ratio will be in your market, but I trust me, there are motivated sellers, whether they're in contract to buy another one, whether they've had life events, whether they're just tired landlords. There could be lots of reasons. But also, and this is why inventory is going to build, and we'll probably build in Memphis. There will be some people in this example that list the home at 280 that will not take a penny less. And then what will happen in 90 days or 6 months when the listing expires? It will just fall off and they will come back next year. That's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. And that's okay. To your point, I think going directly to listing agents or having your buyer's broker call the listing agent, get the story is awesome. I'll even go one level deeper. If you're finding days on market, you're finding price points, you're knowing more about the seller, I would actually try to find out if the seller owns it free and clear. Now, there are systems like PropStream and others that can help with that, but you can also ask. Because if I found a property 30 days on the market, below the median, decent condition, what I would do, Casey, is I would write two offers. Here's a cash or mortgage offer, and here's a seller financing offer. Because you just don't know. Let's have that conversation. Maybe
I
they want the
looked,
income. Yeah, go ahead.
I looked for that. I always check like the situation. You know, first of all, I'm always looking for houses I want to live in, right? So I wouldn't live in any of these rentals, but I want to see what their finance. How did they buy the house? When did they buy it? How long did they own it? What's their equity? How tight are they on their like have to get the certain amount price? Well,
Yeah.
these people they bought it in 2019 on a VA loan, and they financed everything like over 100%. So I know these people like don't have that much money. Like they don't have a lot of wiggle room because it's only been a few years since they've owned the property, so they're not going to walk away with tons. Um, but it was good to know because what if they did own it free and clear and I could negotiate a seller financing deal with low
Yep.
down or get some better terms or better rate. So I do look it up, and I just look it up I look up the information on the county assessor's office.
Oh, there you
You know,
go.
they give all sorts of information for free. You can look at their deed and see when they bought it and the purchase price. And your listing agent can also provide lots of information.
Yeah.
They'll know if it was sold all cash or what type of loan it was, and sometimes even what percent down they put. So
Yeah. I
always
love
try
that.
and check that out for sure.
So it sounds like Memphis, which I would probably guess was in the top 10 hottest market, certainly top 20 for the last several years. It
Yeah.
sounds like it's, downshifting. It's slowing
Yeah.
down even below the median is what you're telling us.
Yes, even below the median. And that's where I try and buy properties under 200,000. This one's slightly above it. I'm getting a good deal. It's in an AB neighborhood. So I'm going to be able to really get some good rent for it. And that's
Mm.
my goal. Quality over quantity,
Yeah.
So all the properties that are going to cash flow are going to be under 200,000 pretty much,
Yep.
unless you put more
Yeah.
money down, do some significant rehab. And they're sitting, even fixed up homes that I remember several months ago, you and I talked about how properties that were rent ready, that were rehab, were flying off the shelves. And it was always the
Yeah.
distressed ones that were sitting. Well, now even the pretty ones are sitting. So you can get into a
Wow.
property. Yes, you can get into a property that doesn't need a lot of work. So that's less money out of pocket if you're an investor.
Yeah. So let's poke at that a little bit because I'm guessing a large percentage of the pretty properties, the clean ones, are probably flippers, right? There's probably a few that are owner ocs that did a remodel, but
Usually.
most of them are going to be flippers. I wonder if you've looked at any, and maybe you can do this for next week if you haven't. I wonder how skinny some of these deals are, because I know in my market there's a bunch of flippers who got caught, and they're lucky to break even at this point. So I don't know if you know that in Memphis or not.
I haven't looked in Memphis, but I do know that I've had several students in a few areas where we have researched and found the skinny deals. Flippers are kind of they over rehabbed a property, they took too long. Now prices are kind of stabilizing. They're not going up like they thought, and their margins are thin. or they're negative on their sale. Matter of fact, there's a girl on my son's baseball team, the mom, and she flips in Memphis. I was so excited because I don't know any younger girl investors out here. And she
Yay.
told me that I know it was really cool. But she told me that she almost lost, like she barely broke even on her last flip that she did. And it was in Midtown. It was in a really nice part, a
Mm.
trendy part of the city. But I do know, I think it's in Montgomery, Alabama. The flippers are
Mm.
having problems, and I think Cleveland, Ohio, flippers are having some problems based upon like some of my research with my students on in their markets.
Yeah. So I really think, and again, it sounds like Memphis is there. I think there's a large part of the country, and again, I think it'll show up in the national numbers. I think the housing market hit a wall, literally hit a wall. Spring selling season's over. 7% rates doesn't help anybody. We have a national election, which is pissing off everybody and scaring people. And when consumers are scared, they're not going to sign a 6-figure mortgage. I think there's a lot of people are just going to say, you know what? Too hard, too much confusion. I'll wait to next year. I think that's what's going to happen for the. I think the second half of the year is going to be slow. What do you think?
I think you know, to on actually one of the weeks. So I think people's disposable income is not as strong as it has been. Like we don't have all the COVID money, we don't have the Biden bucks, we don't have all that, and people are still spending like that. They're putting it on credit cards. My friend down the street, she's going on trips. I can't tell you how many trips she goes on, and she makes not a lot of money. It's a regular income, but she puts it on credit cards. I think that the financial part of society of living is catching up to people, and we're not moving up into the next rental. I'm going to sign her lease renewal with another tenant. She just emailed me or messaged me back today and said, yes, she wants to renew. This will have been 6 years that she's been on the property. 2 years ago, she said she wasn't going to want to renew, but she is, because it's just expensive to keep moving up, even into better rentals. And I think people are hurting. And I kind of think like that's some of what we're seeing with the real estate market too.
Yeah. I think there's a lot in that. It really is to your friend doing all these trips. I think I read an article earlier that 36% of the people who are planning trips this summer are doing it on credit. Can you imagine doing a trip on credit when you pay 20% interest on that? I mean, it hurts
Oh
my
Lord,
head to think about that.
it gives me chills. Like I would never consider it ever. Never would consider doing
Yeah.
that.
Kids, we're going in the backyard. Pitch a tent.
Yeah.
It's our vacation.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Differently,
wild.
like stop spending as much, or you don't need the boat loan and the RV loan, and people have all these toy loans, and things are costing more, groceries are costing more. It's just time to like reorganize your finances. If you're that person that's living paycheck to paycheck and having to put stuff on credit cards, there's got to be something you can do. And it's not, this is what you do, it's not quitting your $5 Starbucks. Okay, I
Mm.
don't do Starbucks. I think that coffee tastes like tar, but my best friend would hate me. She works there.
Mm.
But it's much easier to make more money than it is to cut little things out like that. Yes, get rid of your boat and your car loan, or your expensive loans. But your $5 Starbucks is not going to make you wealthy. It's not going to get you out of a financial hole. You have to create extra income. And this is the reason why real estate investing is so powerful, especially just take it one rental at a time, brick by brick, right? We have the same motto, just
Mhm.
different language.
Agreed.
One at a time will set you up. Just one. We only have 8 houses rentals. We're soon to have 9. I think this one's going to go through. And it gives us a full-time income, a full-time second regular person's income with loans on all the properties. And it will be double that when we don't have loans anymore. Just one at a time. And it's like a
Yeah.
third person lives in our household giving us their income. So the way out of a hole and to not have to put money on credit cards is not to cut your Starbucks. It's to make more money, start a side hustle, invest in real estate, sell some services, make something and sell something on the side. But you can't just sit on your couch, watch Netflix, drink wine or
Mm.
Jameson on the rocks and complain that your life sucks and blame life and society. You have to take control and do something on your own about it. Like I said, make some money some other way, but leave your Starbucks.
There you go. Casey, you're amazing. Thank you for giving us the insight of Memphis. I do think the country is slowing down. I actually think we're going to see a slowdown in home purchases, car purchases. I think anything with debt, like furniture, all these other things, is going to slow down a bunch as we get to November. We'd have a presidential election. I just think we need to get through it. We need to get to the other side and see what we have. Casey, where can people find you?
People can find me every day, everywhere. Brick by Brick Wealth, Instagram, YouTube, website, all the places.
Awesome. Thank you so much.